Many of us are looking for answers, waiting for answers, praying for answers, looking to external sources to receive those answers, and trying to bridge the gap between our own uncertainty and the answer that we think exists outside of us, which actually eliminates our ability to receive it. Because the true answers come from within. As cliche as it sounds, you have the ability to tune into your own intuition, which becomes the source of the answers you're looking for. But unless you trust it, you're never going to know that those answers actually emanate from you. Trusting your intuition could feel like stepping into the darkness, moving into the unknown, and taking a leap of faith in a direction that seems completely uncertain to you, so it can evoke a lot of fear. Except, what if that move into the unknown is met with your own ability to catch yourself, to venture into the area that is completely known to your subconscious mind, and therein lie all the answers. But when you're seeking the answers outside of you, and you don't trust your intuition, you never find solace in the awareness that you already hold. So it becomes very difficult to understand how, within that darkness, you can find all the answers you've been seeking already within yourself. By tapping into that part of you that knows without question what you are needing, because that part of you has already created the solutions you're seeking, but are too scared to fully surrender to. Why is it that it's so difficult for us to simply surrender to this truth, to the knowing that there is a certainty in this darkness that exists within our subconscious minds? Well, let me try to explain why. What if your higher self is entangled with your subconscious mind, so that part of you that you believe is completely unknown to you actually is completely known to your higher self? What you know as your conscious mind is everything that you think you know about yourself and your perspective of the world at large. Your conscious mind is the discerning part of you that knows with certainty the things that you have been taught and have been told are the truth. It's the part of you that says 2 + 2 = 4, that knows your name, your background, and that forms decisions based on what you've learned to recognize about the state of reality. It's the part of you that is judgmental, that is carefully piecing together evidence from your past in order to draw conclusions about the future. It's the part of you that fears pain, that doesn't want to produce any other outcomes related to the trauma that you've already been through. So it uses a lot of judgment and careful strategic thinking in order to keep you safe and secure. Except your conscious mind only knows what you are conscious of, so it is unable to see the big picture, which means that leaning into it is more than likely going to get you in trouble when you need to make intuitive actions and to form decisions based on a higher knowing that your conscious mind just isn't able to tap into. That's where the subconscious mind comes in. It's able to autonomically produce all the responses that come from deep within, which run your organs, which keep your cells functioning, which allows you to think and feel in a way that is not planned by your mind, but that ultimately determines your experience of reality. It is 95% of your subconscious mind that rules your world, which means that even those parts of you that you aren't sure are existent in you are creating the reality you're experiencing. Which also means then that the reality you're experiencing is a reflection of your subconscious mind, and it's something that your higher self is actively entangled with, because in that coordination of efforts with your higher self, you're also able to tap into your intuition, which is guiding you towards the reality you are bound to experience. What is destiny then? It seems that we have a delayed reaction time when it comes to understanding what our subconscious is actually speaking to us. If we are highly honed into our intuition, we can feel certain things that are bound to happen because we know what is programmed deep within us that is making them happen. We're able to know with certainty if we fear something, if we are suppressing something, if we are lying to ourselves, then there will be an equal and reciprocal effect in the world around us, because that is exactly what the subconscious mind is responsible for. It is projecting our deepest and truest nature in the world around us so that we can experience that reflection of us in our reality. That is the only way we can become conscious of what we are unconscious of when it is revealed to us through our earthly experiences. When we deny ourselves the ability to become attuned to our subconscious mind, which includes all of the deep feelings that come through as intuitive signals, as desires, as urges, as deep gut feelings, and things we just know but don't have a way to actively understand from the conscious standpoint, we need to understand that those things are coming through for a reason. And that reason is that they are the truth. They are the truth that the conscious mind may not associate with, but that our soul recognizes is as one with the higher self's reality. And so in this analysis of who we are from a higher perspective, we can understand that more of our truth rests within the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind does not lie. It is the container of everything that is real to us and that we feel deeply within, because feelings are ultimately the realest aspect of our experience. Whatever we feel, we don't have a control over, because those feelings are expressions of our innermost response. They're how our inner self responds to things that happen to it, which means that our inner self holds this truth of self, of reality, of understanding, and its responses pack a lot of meaning about the way that we can encounter life in the way that we currently do unconsciously and the way that we can. Quite often, you may be feeling like you have an intuitive desire to move in a certain direction. At that point, you're faced with an important decision. You either make that decision to follow your intuition or you don't. Your mind consciously may be telling you something different. It may be seeing the drawbacks of listening to your intuition. It may be projecting fears, doubts, uncertainties, and make you feel like there is no reason for you to be choosing what your intuition is guiding you towards, bringing up past circumstances that have kept you in a state of fear or that made you feel that you are not worthy of making a certain decision. So if you succumb to your conscious mind, very often you are succumbing to fear. You are succumbing to the egocentric desire to just preserve yourself and the experience that you are used to having, which is a robotic rendering of what you've been programmed to expect and to experience. When you are cognating simply through the lens of your conscious mind, you are unable to see what else you have yet to experience, what else you are not conscious of, because in that what else territory lies everything that your subconscious mind is also a match to. So for example, you may be in a situation that you don't want to be experiencing, but because your conscious mind is so stuck within its recognition that that is exactly where you're supposed to be and that you should not be tuning into your deep feelings about it, you are just going to deny the subconscious truth that you've chosen something out of a denial of your deeper desires to move in another direction. So when it comes to this decision-making process of whether we do one thing or another, we're usually rationalizing too long, because we're thinking about things through our mind's capacity to reason. We're thinking and scrutinizing ourselves in order to choose the thing that we think is best. But that's exactly where we go wrong, because in thinking what's best, we deprive ourselves of feeling what's truly best for ourselves. We don't listen to this inner voice, which is whispering gently, softly, the truths that we want to be experiencing. But those truths can come into conflict with the conscious mind's narrative. And that dialogue becomes a clashing discussion between mentalized, egocentric fears and deeper soulful desires. The clash will never end unless we decide to devote ourselves to the inner truth. If you choose to listen to your intuition, what you're choosing to do is to move away from a reality in which you are just responding to the programming of your brain, and you move into the world free of expectation, of attachment, of preconceived notions about yourself and reality at large, and you move into a space of love, of understanding, of acceptance, and of truth. You choose to move into reality in which everything flows naturally in the moment, and you cannot expect everything that is going to come to you, but you know with certainty that the best awaits you when you choose to trust in your deeper subconscious knowing. In the domain of the subconscious mind, all is known, and all can be released, creatively expressed, and understood when you choose to explore those inner depths. When you venture into that unknown territory, what you're actually doing is opening up the portal for great expansion, for connection to the field of intelligence, which allows you to understand yourself more as a form of consciousness, which is both connected to every experience you've had and to everything that is outside of yourself. It's self-transcendental in nature. It's allowing you to experience intuition as something that is you becoming an antenna to it, you becoming as one with your higher self, which holds infinite potential to expand, to know, to love, and to feel. You and absolutely everyone else has the ability to be this antenna, because guess what? You already are one. You're already feeling, thinking deeply, and reasoning in a way that surpasses your physical senses. You have this curious sixth sense, this ability to tune into something that you might not even realize you are connected to, because you are indeed always connected to it. You just need to start to recognize it. And when you do, when you peel back your layers of uncertainty and just start going for it, feeling this intuitive urge, you start picking up a whole new solution, an answer that your mind might have not conceived of before, but you feel with certainty is true. You can't explain it. Usually you have a desire to fear this inner knowing because it contradicts everything that you think you know. But guess what? That is the truth. That is what you should be honed into more often than not, because therein lies what's best for you. Therein lies the true potential that you're trying to magnetize, but that can't be achieved from the brain. Because what the brain does best is survival, and what the heart does best is recognition of what leads to more love and expansion. I think on an evolutionary basis, and the way that society is evolving is leading to a diminishment of the intuitive factor, because what use is it? So many people are living their lives in falsity, attached to the programming, the conditioning, the fears, the strategy, which is really pulling them away from their soul and from the need to connect deeply and to submerge themselves in their authentic interests and desires, and moving away into this box mentality of what the world is thinking is best for them. We're moving away from the individual divine consciousness and into this collective consciousness, this status quo and sort of hive mind mentality, which is not promoting the power of the intuitive voice. People are not listening to this inner voice because what use is it if you're not going to apply it to your life? The whole purpose of listening to the intuition is to apply it to make the best decisions, to make the changes, to orient yourself towards this truth that it is showing you toward. Think of your intuition as a best friend that you can really confide in, that is allowing you to see that there is another possibility. There's a way to see beyond what your mind can see, and to trust that the universe actually has your back. And that is when you actually decide to love yourself enough to listen to it. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy playing out in the most beautiful way possible. When you choose to love your experience enough so as to allow your inner voice to become the guide in your life begins to unfold in the direction in which you've always wanted it to. And that is because maybe your intuition is really the voice of your future self on the future timeline, guiding you towards the future actions that are going to lead you to the best future you can possibly imagine. And all of that is accessible within your consciousness when you choose to trust, surrender, and allow this blossoming of love, joy, and opportunity within you to lead you towards that navigation of your inner self. Many fear their intuition because what it's leading them toward is this reevaluation of who they are and what they think about the world around them. It's opening up their minds and hearts to a whole new paradigm, to a need to reconcile the difference between their ego and their soul, and to understand that the best decisions are actually up to them. And it's always within their own capacity to understand whether they are making the right choice or the other. When you seek answers, more often than not, you already know the answers you are seeking. You're just too afraid to listen to them. You may be looking externally for something to validate your ego's perspective, to actually deflect the truth that you're already feeling deep within, because you don't know what it's going to take for you to assimilate that truth. You may not realize that you are so powerful that you have the ability to guide and misguide you at the same time. You have the ability to either feel deeply into that intuitive voice and to allow it to rule your entire reality, or you can choose to shut it down completely and prove to yourself that you have no ability to find that guidance, to find those answers, and to feel like you are cruelly punished by the universe at large. What if all of that is in your hands? And what if your intuition is just urging you every single day to trust yourself, to go within, to keep feeling that you have the capacity to be empowered, to live the life that you want to be living? But all that is on the other side of your own fear. So the major conundrum is that fear is blocking us from accessing the intuition. And intuition is simply the portal of understanding that rests within all of our hearts when we choose to surrender the fear and choose to move into the direction of love.